Info in depth, I'm Grover Silcox reporting.
Thanks so much, Grover. I've got another special guest joining me in the studio right now. It's Dr. Joseph Roy. He is the new superintendent of the Bethlehem Area School District. Dr. Roy, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
You are no stranger to the Bethlehem School District. Help people understand a little bit how you were here and gone and what brought you back.
Sure. Well, I started as a teacher in the East Penn School District, and then I was an assistant principal at Liberty High School in the early to mid-90s. I lived in the Lehigh Valley for 10 years before relocating to Montgomery County, where I worked at Springfield Township School District for about 10 years. And I was a high school principal for most of the last 15 years, and was an assistant superintendent in Springfield Township. Now moving back to become the superintendent in Bethlehem. I'm delighted to be back. I always hoped that I'd get back to Bethlehem.
Now, these are some challenging times. Be careful what you wish for. You've got some financial challenges due to the building of a new school and a lot of public concern about that, as well as you're looking at about an 85% graduation rate in your high schools, and neither of those high schools made adequate yearly progress last year, and it's the fourth consecutive year for Correction Action 2. Plus, you've got two elementary schools, Lincoln and Marvine, that didn't meet AYP last year, and they're in a warning status. Now, you weren't here during those times, but you've inherited some of these challenges. How do we move forward? What is your plan to make things better? We can't hold you accountable for the past, but everyone wants you to be successful for the future.
Well, thank you. On the financial side, one of the issues is the funding system in Pennsylvania. The property tax system puts the burden on school districts through property taxes, and with the state's contributions has decreased over time, puts more of a burden on the local schools. So wealthier districts with lower student needs have more money, and poorer districts with greater student needs have less money. So that's a challenge that we hope to work on at the state level. That's a legislation issue. Internally, financially, the district has been making progress over the last couple of years to stabilize the finances, and will continue to do that. And on the academics, while 4 of our schools didn't make AYP, adequate yearly progress, this year, the other 18 out of 22 did make adequate yearly progress. So there's a lot to build on. At the high school level, high schools are tough. We have 2 large high schools. The 11th grade PSSA test is the one that is used to determine adequate yearly progress, and we haven't done it. And so my job coming in is going to be to focus on, particularly on math, because that's our area of need for the greatest growth. And we're going to focus on our math curriculum, our math assessments, our math teaching, to see what we can do to improve test scores.
How can you kind of gauge your progress before that test comes? I mean, there has to be a way to help get you there as you can build momentum, because as I understand, I believe the test is always given in April or early spring anyhow.
It's a good point, and there are several ways we're doing it. It's called a Foresight test, which is the name of the test, that is given 3 or 4 times a year throughout the year to track student progress, and it's a test that mirrors the PSSA test. It's just shorter. So we'll be able to track, and we're doing it for the first time this year, we'll be able to track student progress. We've already administered it once. We'll do it 2 or 3 more times prior to the PSSA so that we can see student growth. It also helps students buy into the test more, because they'll see their own progress. Rather than just taking this one test at the end of the year, we're going to help them set goals moving towards that test, so they'll have more of a sense of ownership when they take the test. We're also designing common assessments within the math courses. So if you teach Algebra 1 and I teach Algebra 1, we're giving the same chapter or unit assessments all the way through. So we'll be able to track student progress much more closely by making sure everyone's taking the same assessments step by step by step.
So let's say you have some students who don't do well on the Foresight. What is then put into place to help those students get ready so that hopefully they'll be up to speed by the time the big test comes?
One of the reasons we like Foresight is it's online. We get the results back almost immediately. So the teachers have been trained, and we're training teachers to look at the data they get back. So they'll be able to be very specific if the student is weak in geometry or a particular area of geometry. This is all aligned to the state academic standards. So we'll be able to see if they have a problem in algebra, what academic standard within algebra is the problem. And then the teachers will address those issues. So it provides more timely, very specific feedback. One of my key words to teachers and administrators is precision. We have to be more precise in diagnosing what a student needs. It's not good enough to say he's not a good reader or he's strong in math. What precisely is the area that the student needs help with. So it's not just algebra, it's learning about slope, and the student needs to be. So the Foresight test will help us be more precise and then getting back to the student to help them with the skills that they need.
But we're not talking a handful of students here. We're talking thousands of students. I believe you have over 18,000 in the whole school district.
A little under 15,000.
A little under 15, forgive me. 15,000 students, and you do these Foresight tests. How do you have enough just horsepower to be able to get at each and every student? You know, Susie's struggling with this, Johnny's struggling with that, to kind of get them that individual attention. Is there a way to go about that?
Yeah. I think that's the challenge, and I mean, every student has math, as they always have. So, you know, individual teachers have, you know, at the elementary level, their math class each day. At the high school level, they're teaching 3 classes of math a day. So that's maybe 75 students that they're saying that they do have to focus on at the high school level 90 minutes at a time. So I think the block schedule with the 90-minute periods affords more opportunity to get to kids individually. But what the difference is, now we'll have the data to be precise. When we didn't have the data, it's hard to individualize if you don't have the data to be precise. So that is the challenge. The other piece is not all kids are below proficient, so that there are those students who are doing well and who won't show weaknesses on the Foresight test, and they'll continue to move ahead with the curriculum, with the regular curriculum. It's those kids that we need to kind of catch up or fill in gaps. Math is very sequential, so there are times that a student, because they changed districts, maybe missed a concept when they changed from one school to another, and they may just miss one piece that's impeding their progress, because it's math builds. So if we can identify that piece and take care of it, a lot of kids can be right back on track.
Dr. Joseph Roy, the new superintendent at the Bethlehem Area School District, we are very grateful for your time and wish you all the best success for you and your students.
Thank you very much.